I got my favorite drink. I got my favorite snack. And I'm wearing my favorite shirt. I can only mean one thing. It's time for SummerSlam. Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
No chance, so that's what you got. Up against a machine too strong. Pretty politicians buying souls for us all puppets. Won't find their place in line. But tie a string around your finger now, boy, cause it's just a matter of time. Cause you've got no chance. No chance in hell. 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 Come on, come on.
Supper before SummerSlam. Dinner of Champions. A half hour before SummerSlam starts. So quick rundown for my picks. In case you missed the other video, here's a quick, cheap and dirty rundown of the cards for me. Dean Ambrose versus Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam's going to win. Natalya versus Brie Bella. Natalya's going to win. Dolph Ziggler and Caitlyn versus AJ Lee and Big E. Big E and AJ for the win. Sandow versus Rhodes. Sandow for the win. Christian versus Del Rio. Christian for the win and new heavyweight champion. Kane versus Bray Wyatt in a Ring of Fire match. Bray Wyatt winning his debut match. CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar. Lesnar for the win. And finally, John Cena versus Daniel Bryan with the special guest referee of Triple H. And, of course, Randy Orton and McMahon lurking in the wings. Bryan for the win. So, we'll see how close I get to this one. Oh, it's 7:30 and we haven't started the match yet. So we'll see what happens. Some problems with the app. I'm guessing that it's Shawn Michaels' beard is interfering with the stream, because looks like he's hunting the Sasquatch. We got it on the TV. First match of the night, and they've actually got the stream working better now. So I get to watch it on TV, and here we go. We'll see what happens if my predictions come true. I have to go record this in the bathroom. It's the only place I can get privacy around here. So, yeah, first match of the night in the bag. I was half right. Rob Van Dam did win the match, but he did not win the belt due to outside interference from the Shield. So it's obvious, two things, that one, they're going to continue this Dean Ambrose and Rob Van Dam feud, and you're probably going to see the Shield, Rollins and Reigns, defend the tag belts against Henry and Show tonight on the pay-per-view. The match was going well. The Shield came down. Henry and Show came out. It sort of turned into a weird lumberjack match. And then because Reigns speared Rob, he wins the match, but not the belt. So it was a decent match, slower paced than I thought it would be. I'm not sure it's going to be match of the night. It would have been match of the night if they had let Ambrose and Rob Van Dam wrestle without any interference and just had them have a classic match. But it's obvious they want to continue this feud into the next pay-per-view. So expect a surprise announcement during the pay-per-view that the tag titles are up for grabs tonight. SummerSlam is fandangoing right at the top of the hour. What's that dancing fruitcake doing out here? So, Bray Wyatt versus Kane, much as I predicted, very predictable. Bray Wyatt wins. The Wyatt family find a way to get into the ring. They douse the flames and they get in. What was more interesting than Bray Wyatt winning was what happened after the match. Is they set Kane up on the steel steps again and did the little beheading thing with him, and then the Wyatt family dragged Kane out of the arena. So expect to see. We got the new Dungeon of Doom brewing here, so expect to see Kane with the Wyatts. So I'm 2 for 3. I'm 2 for 3. Cody Rhodes versus Damian Sandow. Cody Rhodes, without the mustache, picked up the win. Still solid match. That was a really good match, really fast-paced, really good. Each of them kicked out of each other's signature moves. Good pacing, some good, always good expressions on Sandow's face. So this one may wind up being a contender for match of the evening. But I'm 2 for 3. I thought Sandow would win this one, but he still got the briefcase, so he could still win tonight. Oh, well, looks like Frosty is 2 for 4. Alberto Del Rio versus Christian, and Christian did not win. Couple of surprises. Alberto Del Rio won. Ricardo Rodriguez, whatever his name is, was nowhere to be seen. And they actually put on a hell of a match. At one point, Christian went for the spear, and Del Rio drop-kicked him in the face. Not really sure what happened to Del Rio. Came out looking like he had a black eye, some cuts and bruises. Looked like he might have dropped the soap in a Tijuana prison in the last couple of days. But so I'm 2 for 4. We'll see how the rest of the night goes. But that match could actually be match of the night. Oh, and now I'm 3 for 5. I like it when my predictions come true. We just had the Divas match, Natalya versus Brie, and Natalya won. The Funkadactyls were out there. The other Bella twin was out there, and they all got involved with each other outside of the ring, but Natalya wins due to submission by the sharpshooter. It's funny, there was 6 women wrestlers out there, and only one of them actually has real wrestling talent, and that's Natalya, the only woman to go through the dungeon and the last member of the Heart, the daughter of Jim Neidhart. So we're getting there. And they're chucking through the matches pretty quick here. It's been on for a little over an hour and 20 minutes or so, and we're down to, I think, 4 matches left. So we'll see what the rest of the night has in store. I gotta tell you, this pay-per-view is stuffed full of interviews, backstage spots, promo videos, and commercials, and thank God it's stuffed full of filler, because otherwise I wouldn't have any time to go to the bathroom. Alright, so once again, CM Punk proves why he is the best in the world. Not because he wins or loses, but because that he can make anyone look good in that ring. And CM Punk versus Brock won the match, just like I predicted. But if there is any one person in the WWE right now that can make a lumbering oaf like Brock look amazing, it's CM Punk. And that match was everything I expected it to be and more. Illegal weaponry, chairs, Heyman got involved, and yes, CM Punk did get Brock Lesnar up in the GTS twice. But in the end, Brock takes the win. But it's Punk who will continue to be the best in the world. And we got 2 matches left, boys. 2 matches left. So what am I? I think I'm half and half of predictions at this point. Dolph Ziggler and Caitlyn won against Big E and AJ Lee. It was an okay match. Big E hit a massive clothesline out of the corner. That was kind of cool. But then he did the obvious thing and walked into the zigzag. Big E kind of needs to learn how to sell the moves a little bit better and not make it so obvious that you're looking around and, oh, there's Dolph. Guess I got to go for the zigzag. But he's still new, and overall it was okay. It's the cool down match between the CM Punk match and Brock Lesnar match, and the match right before the main event. And right now, one match left to go: Bryan versus Cena, and I'm still waiting for a swerve. Somewhere there's got to be a swerve. I was hoping it wouldn't just be the obvious Cena swerve in the match, but looks like the big swerves will be at the end of the night. So we'll see you at the end of the Champ versus the Beard. Well, there it is. Another SummerSlam comes to a close, and it ended the way I thought it would. And I was hoping that they would at least let Daniel Bryan hold the title for overnight, longer than, 3 minutes. But, the match between Bryan and Cena was a hell of a lot better than I thought it would be. Bryan won with some weird exploding knee to Cena's face out of the corner. It was a move I had never seen him do. And we got to see some high-flying moves from Cena. I actually went up to the top rope and did a flying leg drop. I haven't seen Cena do that in a while. But Bryan wins, gets the belt. Cena and Bryan shake hands. Bryan leaves. And you knew the swerve was coming. You just didn't know from which angle it was going to come to. The swerve came from Triple H, a pedigree to Bryan, and a cash-in from Randy Orton. Does this mean that Evolution is getting back together? Is that Evolution, Revolution, or Devolution? I don't know. But no Vince tonight. But, they went through the celebratory pyro and fireworks and confetti and everything for Bryan, and he was champion for all of about 3 minutes. So, it was a decent match, and after I upload all of these little videos, I'm going to do a final recap about what I thought of the pay-per-view. So here are my thoughts. I waited till the next day, Monday, to actually do it, partly because it got done late and I uploaded everything and I was tired and I wanted to sit on it or sleep on it. But so here it is. So SummerSlam was pretty good. You always judge these pay-per-views on was it worth spending the money? You spend $45 on a pay-per-view, you want to know if you got your money's worth. And so that's kind of how you rate them. So was this worth spending the $55 on? Yeah, it was. I think it was. I think people got their money's worth. I think just for the Christian and Del Rio match and the Punk and Lesnar match and, of course, the Bryan and Cena match, those 3 matches were worth it. There were some, slip-ups and bumps along the road in the pay-per-view. There was a lot of filler. Fandango and The Miz had this running gag through the whole pay-per-view where Miz would be doing an interview and Fandango would come out and dance and Miz would punch him. Not really sure if they're building up for a feud between these two or not. There was a promo of again showing Ryback beating up I think it was a caterer this time, not a cameraman. So they had little vignettes and they had filler and they had long video packages. It would have been nice if maybe they had cut out some of that filler and added an extra match. I was surprised to see that they didn't put the Shield versus Henry and Show on the pay-per-view at all. Maybe they're saving that for Night of Champions. But overall, it was a solid match. A lot of the endings were predictable. A lot of the outcomes were predictable. Would have liked to have seen Bray Wyatt actually wrestle, have a decent match instead of what they did. But I see where they're going with this. Like I mentioned, this is the new Dungeon of Doom. Bray Wyatt is the new Kevin Sullivan. And they had to write Kane off because he's going to film a movie. He's making a sequel to See No Evil, that god-awful horror movie that they put out. And so they had to write him off TV. And they did it. And, I knew that Bray was going to win anyway because you don't generally build a character up that much and then make him lose on his debut on a pay-per-view. That's just bad booking. So I knew he was going to win anyway. Sandow didn't cash in. That kind of surprised me. Found out what happened to Del Rio, all the bruises and bumps and scrapes and all that. Apparently the night before he got into a fist fight with Drew McIntyre. I find that kind of funny because if that's what Del Rio looks like, then Drew McIntyre must look like hell. So yeah, he got into a fight with one of the members of 3MB, which, I thought was kind of funny when I found that out. Not sure where they're going to go with Christian nowadays. Maybe he'll come out tonight and retire. Who knows? But overall, there were some matches that were better than I expected. The Divas match was better than I expected. It wasn't perfect. The crowd hated it. At one point the crowd chanted JBL, then they chanted Michael Cole, then they chanted Jerry Lawler, then they chanted We Want Tables. I mean, the crowd was just bored. So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. But overall, the matches that I expected to delivered. Lesnar and Punk delivered. And that was just a great, great match. Bryan and Cena delivered. And again, I keep talking about this swerve. And I don't know if the WWE is becoming predictable. They've been accused of being predictable for like the last 5 years. And it would have been everybody knew the swerve was coming. People are still surprised. Oh, look, Triple H turned on Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton cashed in. They did the predictable thing. And we all knew the swerve was coming, and everybody was still surprised that, it's because they shot the pyro off and the confetti and everything, and there was a celebratory, and everybody went, well, maybe they're actually going to let Bryan hold the belt for 24 hours. And then they did it. And I know why they did it. They got to write John Cena off of television. He's got to go get elbow surgery. They want to get different people. They wanted to make the contention for the belt new and exciting. I know why they did it. I just wish they had done the swerve differently. And here's how I would have done the swerve. So for the last month or so, it's been Triple H and Vince McMahon, and they've been having a power struggle on Raw, and they've been talking about it, and you knew Vince didn't want Cena or Bryan to win, and you knew Triple H was there to protect Bryan, so you knew this power struggle was going on. And we knew there was going to be a swerve, and I'm okay with the swerve, but what I would have done was, instead of having Triple H turn heel, I would have had Stephanie turn heel. Now think about that. The match is over because nobody thinks about her. She's the one caught in the middle. She's the one that has to appease her father. She's the one that has to appease her husband. She's the one sort of in the torn between these two power-hungry tyrants. So what if it had been the match exactly as it had been? Cena shook Bryan's hand. Cena leaves. Bryan celebrates. Triple H congratulates him. And then, Stephanie McMahon comes out, clapping, whatever, to shake Bryan's hand and to congratulate him too. We've got a wonderful McMahon reunion. And then Triple H leaves. And she is celebrating with Bryan in the ring. And then Randy Orton's music hits. And Orton comes out. And now, of course, Stephanie's all, oh my God, I'm so scared. Because here comes Randy Orton. And she's all alone with Bryan. And Bryan says, nope, get back. I'll deal with Randy. So when Randy gets into the ring and there's a stare down or whatever, and Randy's about to leave, and everybody's cool and all that, and then all of a sudden, Stephanie shoves Bryan into Orton into an RKO. Orton RKO's him, and then Orton goes for the punt kick, the heel punt kick, and Stephanie removes her suit blazer to reveal she's got a referee's shirt underneath it, and he hands her the briefcase, and she says, "Ring the damn bell." And Stephanie's the one who turned heel with Orton because she got tired of all of her father and her husband's crap. And it's the same swerve, but I'll bet you nobody would have expected it to come from her. I think that would have been a little bit more exciting. I think that would have had a bit of a pop, a bigger pop. Everybody expects Triple H to turn heel. Nobody likes Vince McMahon as a good guy. Vince McMahon only works as a bad guy. And it's been years since Stephanie's done anything. Never mind being a heel. It's been years since she's done anything. So if the McMahon family are going to insert themselves in the title run, that would have been good. And if she had turned heel, we could have seen the return of Shane. Maybe he could have come back to talk sense into his sister. Who knows? I thought it would have been a little bit more exciting. But it was, it is what it is. And so we'll find out now tonight on Raw. We'll have the aftermath of everything that happened. So it should be an interesting Raw. And so, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would I rate this pay-per-view? I would give it I'd give it a 7. 7 out of 10. I'd give the Lesnar and match of the night. Yeah, I'm after thinking of all of the things that have happened. Match of the night, I'm going to give to Punk and Lesnar because that was a hell of a match, and I could watch that match over and over again. And I probably will go and watch that match over and over again because I recorded SummerSlam. So we'll see. I'll go watch it and see if it still holds up. Probably will. So it was a decent for being one of the big 3 of the year. They had to deliver, and the WWE delivered. And the next pay-per-view that I'll be getting, I probably won't be getting another pay-per-view until January, until Royal Rumble. So until then, have a good one.
Beetle bottle boodle, everybody wants to eat a poodle.